Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network.
'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven.
A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at UBNradio.com.
Hey, everybody, it is Wednesday, August the 6th. I'm Emerson Collins.
And I'm Del Shores.
And you're listening to
The Del and Emerson Show. Straight talk.
Real gay. Hey, Del Shores.
Hey, Emerson Collins.
How are you today?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm so good. We have a great show today. We will be joined a little later on by the brilliant, hilarious, and talented Alec Mapa and his husband, Jamie Hebert, who produced their new film, Alec Mapa, Baby Daddy.
And I love that film. You and I saw it together at Outfest. It was great. So
yes.
Excited to see Alec again and Jamie.
And if you are listening to the show, we are so glad to have you. We just found out that we have huge numbers, and it is because of you guys out there.
We're seriously so grateful. We were shocked that so many people are listening to our show. We just found out that 34,000 people listened to our show last month. We had almost 12,000 downloads. Keep doing that, y'all. Thank you so much.
It means 50,000 people are hearing our nonsense.
That's right.
And if you missed the show live, you can always subscribe on iTunes. You just search The Del and Emerson Show under podcast, and it will download it to your iTunes automatically, and it is free. So if you ever miss a show, it will automatically be there for you, and you can listen to it after the fact. We are going to try something new today. We have a question we're going to ask you, and any of you sitting at the computer, you can go and post your answer on our Facebook page. The post is up there now. So what is the question we're going to explore?
Very highbrow. It's a highbrow. Question. We try to keep this elevated to the most to those Mensa people.
Absolutely.
That's why. So Emerson, do you do the honors? Read this amazing question that we have.
So we have found the answer to this question, and we want to know what you think it is. The question is, according to Pornhub, which country searches the most for anal sex porn? Now, by percentage, it's proportional, so it could be a tiny country or a big country, but which country in all of the entire world do you think searches the most for anal porn?
It's a bored country.
Go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Del and Emerson Show. We just posted the question. List your answers underneath. We'll read
like the page, too.
We'll read out the worst ones, and then we'll read out the names of the people that got it right. All right?
All right, we'll do that at the end of the show, so... Now we go to our equality update. Emerson, what do we have in equality this week?
Well, let's kick it off. Florida is coming in drip by drip. They now have a third county. Broward County has now come on board.
Broward was the one that had all the controversy during the Gore Bush election, correct?
They're trying to make up for it.
They're trying to do something right.
All those hanging chads, they're never going to get past that. So we now have 3 counties out of the 60 or whatever there are in Florida, or 12.
They're old. It's hard to get to this. It's just very difficult.
But at this rate, they're going to get all of them in like 2077.
Well, I think by that time that actually our next piece of news will take care of that, don't you think?
Yes, before all of the Florida counties get it. So the other big news and equality update is that Utah has officially appealed the ruling against them to the Supreme Court. The importance of this is that it is the first case that is directly appealed to the Supreme Court, which means they will have the opportunity to decide whether or not to consider that case on its merits. And in additional news, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asked about it, and she said that she does not expect the court to duck the gay marriage issue. Many people think that it will come in the cycle that starts in June of 2016, but it's looking like it might actually be next June. We may have enough cases up there.
Well, it's such a hotbed right now. I mean, everything is just accelerating state by state and county by county in Florida.
Yes.
So we are I'm hoping for 2015. I was reading something while we were doing the research on this, and there was this lesbian couple who said that we think that we will be dead before, they're from Alabama, before our state has gay marriage, and I think they're wrong. I absolutely think it's going to happen nationwide while we're still on the air, Emerson Collins.
Yeah, it will happen at the national level. Alabama and Mississippi and Texas will be dragged kicking and screaming along with the national decision.
Secede! We're seceding.
I mean, come on. We've won every single court case that's happened. Of course, now there is a slight caveat. There is a case actually happening today that's the Sixth Circuit, which I believe is like Ohio and Kentucky. And they're 3 judges on that circuit. 2 of them are very conservative, so it's possible that might be the first decision against us. It's just the opening arguments today. But that would definitely force the Supreme Court to consider it faster if there are multiple circuit court decisions in opposition to each other.
So that we're, as I always say, sometimes what we perceive as a bad thing can become a very positive thing.
Yes.
We maybe want this negative decision.
Yeah, if
Absolutely.
we were to lose that one, it would actually make it more urgent for the Supreme Court to consider one of the cases. Because if all of them are positive, they could say, well, it's going that way. Let's just everyone continue to handle it one by one. So we shall see.
I was just thrilled when I read what you wrote that she has no plans to retire. I love her. I just love her.
Well, and it's funny. It's interesting because there's always the consideration with the Supreme Court level of if a Republican wins in 2016, then she would need to stay on at least another 4 years to hope for a Democratic president after that because she's such a liberal on every level.
Right.
So there is always a push sometimes to sort of get people out the door so you can replace them with someone like them. And she basically said, nope, I'm sticking around for a while.
I'm here.
I'm not going
here.
anywhere.
I like this job.
What else has she got to do?
That's right. And now we go to Uganda.
And this is a yay and a all at the same time.
Yeah.
As many of you have followed, if you don't know anything else about Uganda, it's what got Chick-fil-A in trouble. The Uganda passed a law earlier this year that banned the promotion of homosexuality and enabled life sentences for various same-sex acts, including touching in public or living in a same-sex marriage. It was just overturned this week by their court system, which is fantastic.
Yes.
But there are still anti-LGBT laws in the book that go all the way back to the colonial days, and also the important piece of it is they threw it out on a legal technicality. They didn't throw it out on the merits of this is a human rights violation. Basically, when they voted on it, they didn't have enough people in the building to consider a quorum, so they threw it out on a technicality.
And now, so they're saying we're going to do it right this time,
Yes,
basically.
There's a number of people that think, because the president signed it into law and he used it.
He's so homophobic.
To win his election. What was it he said to CNN? They're disgusting. What sort of people are they? I never knew what they were doing. I've been told recently what they do is terrible, disgusting.
I think he went on Pornhub and searched.
I know. I mean, maybe some of you should list Uganda as your answer on our Facebook page.
Could
poll.
be. Maybe that's what happened. But it's interesting to me that they continue to rant and they continue to spew all of this while there have been sanctions. There have been, there are lots of repercussions to this. A lot.
Well, and that's part of the reason people think that the president pushed the court to throw it out on a technicality because, the U.S. had stopped aid and military exercises there because of their human rights violations. But there are a number of lawmakers in Uganda pushing to expedite a new vote on the law. Of course, that's a violation of their legal technical system, so hopefully they do that and it keeps getting thrown out until they can. They are a long way from swinging public opinion.
Well, what's shameful is that there are so many Christian groups who have embraced them and endorsed them for what they have done, and it's just disgusting.
I mean, it is. It's one of the organizations in Uganda that Chick-fil-A was donating to that is what got Chick-fil-A in so much trouble in the first place.
So do not eat Chick-fil-A. I'm just saying.
Those waffle fries are so good, though. Like, at some point, can we get past that?
No, we cannot.
I know it's terrible.
We have to. Here's what we have to do. We have to steal the recipe. Somehow we have to steal the recipe and get it on the internet. They've done that before, like Mrs. Phil's cookies. So if we could just get the recipe for some of this shit that I don't eat because I can't, I just become,
You'll appreciate this.
Biggest viralisso.
I tweeted this last night. It's a combination of my commentary on Chick-fil-A and your feeling about hot homeless dudes. I said, for a gay dude, eating at Chick-fil-A is like having sex with a hot homeless dude. It's totally okay as long as no one ever knows.
Yes, well, No, we can't take. I'm sorry, guys. We cannot take calls. We're so tight on the show today, but we can't take calls. But we so appreciate you calling in when you do. And go to our Facebook page and ask us the questions, and that's the way to do it. So thank you so much for that. All right.
Just so you know, I'm checking in with the question, and on our Facebook page, nobody has gotten the answer correct of which country searches for the most for anal sex porn yet. So
I was a little surprised.
Keep
I was
guessing.
a little surprised at who the searchers were.
All right, moving on. Flashing through the gay news. This is a very interesting story. I actually think it's a good subject for our community to consider. A Denver gay bear bar called The Wrangler was found by the Colorado State Civil Rights Division to be discriminating against people for turning away a man in drag.
Yeah, I was fascinated by this case too because I find it kind of hypocritical that we are so discriminatory against each other within our community. And you know, it's we make jokes about the lesbians or we make jokes about this, but to actually turn somebody away. And I then went and read that in Denver as well was where the big case where the bakery would not make the cake for the gay couple, and they got reprimanded for it. I mean, got sent to sensitivity training and told that they had to do it. So what's the difference here?
Yeah, well, we can't turn around and be doing the same thing to each other that we're complaining about other organizations doing. It's great if you want to have a theme that's your bar, but also if you're a bear bar and some femmy skinny queen comes in, how do you know they're not a chaser and there to enjoy the environment just as much as the bears who are there?
That's right. And then the owner, his name, what was his name?
I don't know.
Well, he says, I can't find his name here, but the owner actually said that, well, we were not represented well here. You don't know if with a drag person, if that's really them on the driver's license or whatever. It's just bullshit. Yeah. I mean, I've been to the Rose Room a million times, and there have been many drag people in line getting in, and they do get in with their boy ID in drag.
Yeah.
So that's bullshit. And it was all about, oh, we don't want feminine men here. We don't want women here. Okay, so I'm going to be visiting Denver next year. I just got a gig there. So I may just go to the Wrangler and just have it out with them.
I'm going to bring out my new drag persona, Rosa Sharts, and we're going to head to the Wrangler.
And you know, as Leslie Jordan says at his stand-up, he's always talking about the leather queens and the bears and how they open their mouth and some of them 100 pounds of chiffon falls out. So it's not, they're not all, just by the look does not mean that you are... Right, not taking
all of those stereotypes. All right,
absolutely.
Flashing on. So Cosmo magazine, that bastion of feminism and celebration.
Come on, we love Helen
Gurley
Brown before she passed.
Equality. I have no idea who that is. What you just said.
Okay, it's a generational thing.
It is.
Yes.
Helen Gurley Brown.
Helen Gurley Brown.
Oh yeah, that means nothing to me.
All right.
She Jennifer Love Hewitt's older sister.
Do you know who Helen Gurley Brown is, John?
Was that an editor or something, or a
yes,
publisher?
At Cosmo?
Yeah, at Cosmo. Yeah.
I can't believe you know editors at Cosmo.
She was very, very famous.
You.
She was like on the Merv Griffin show all the time and all kinds of shit. Well, I think she even made the Hollywood Squares a few times. She was a personality.
Well, in the immortal words of Del Shores in Yellow, I do not care, Kate Westmoreland.
People quote me to get back at me.
Right.
So fuck you, Emerson College.
Well,
all right.
So Cosmo, celebrating feminism as they do, they have released a brand new article called 28 Mind-Blowing Lesbian Sex Positions. And that is very big advancement for them because I guess they've just run out of ways to deal with the female orgasm and how to please your man lover and 87 ways to give blowjobs. And so they're reaching out to the lesbians.
I actually went to I saw where these lesbians tried to recreate the positions, and they were complaining that some of the positions are only for the small and the what do you give me? I gave my boyfriend a grapefruit blowjob, Cosmopolitan. Oh, that's a headline.
Yes.
That's the kind of things.
I mean, they're really high.
But they were pushing the envelope with women and sexuality back in the day. That was my point. She was a feminist.
But see, I read an article by a lesbian who was really impressed with the things
she thought it was a good
thing,
right?
because they weren't just the standard, oh, this is what it looks like in lesbian porn. Like, it talks about, like, digital manipulation and using your tongue and your fingers for penetration at the same time and lots of things that I'm not real comfortable with. But that she said these are real, actual things that women do to stimulate each other. So she found it impressive. So,
So you have to go Google the lesbians who recreated it, and it is hysterical. They did a photo shoot recreating these positions.
So yay, Cosmo! Finally,
and yay, lesbians! We have a lesbian story.
1970s and women as materialistic objects of lust and desire. Flashing on. The highest paid homo on TV is Jim Parsons from The Big Bang Theory. He is making $1 million an episode to do 3 more years of The Big Bang Theory.
Good for him.
You know what I want to know? If someone managed to get in between him and that husband of his, and even if they split it down the middle, $500,000 an episode would be fine for me as the mistress, correct?
You're thinking of being
I'm
the
just
third
saying.
Miss Parsons?
Well,
Is that
Jim Parsons.
You're moving in.
We went to the same high school in Houston.
Didn't he? Matt Balmer too?
Matt went to the one down the street.
Oh, that's the one I would have wanted to go to if I were much younger.
I do love that this show about like nerdy, super smart people, dorky, and he's the highest paid homo on TV.
So good. He was so great in The Normal Heart as well. Such a great actor. And the only reason though he is the highest is because Merv Griffin is dead.
Yes.
So
Neil Patrick Harris is mad somewhere. All right, flashing on.
Well, he's not on TV anymore, right? I mean, who knows? He had to be making quite a pretty penny. Emerson's doing this. That means go on, move on.
We're 3 minutes behind. Well, it's like a voice thing. You know when you do that thing at the end where you say, this is the end of a sentence, so that's time to move on. When Delford has another hair. Like
you have to become a mother and do like this. Like,
all right, we are continuing. Oh, hi. We are continuing to attempt to move just beyond standard gay fare in our flashing through the gay news. And this is actually a really important story. Today, August the 5th, in Michigan, launched the Michigan Women's Festival. It is a 38-year-old festival started by Lisa Vogel. That they call it is Women Born Women, a festival for women raised as girls and who continue to identify as women. It's a celebration of feminine and lesbian and feminist, and they eat communally, and all the women build the stages together like it's an all-women festival. That's been a big thing in the feminism community for a number of years, but they've run into a huge amount of trouble in the last couple of years because they exclude trans men and trans women from the festival. Now, Lisa says that it is not an official policy. They just request that people respect the point of the festival. And so since trans men were assigned female at birth but no longer identify as women, they're not eligible. And since trans women were assigned male at birth, they're not eligible. And so there's been a huge response.
Yeah, some people have pulled out. The Indigo Girls pulled out.
Well,
correct?
and that was their big one. The Indigo Girls have been one of the big, obviously, like who's bigger than that for the lesbian community. They pulled out and said, we won't return until you include trans women. And even Leah Delaria, the great
Love her.
butch, she identifies as a butch dyke and said, and she's huge from Orange is the New Black, was scheduled to perform and pulled out as well because of this. So HRC has come out against it. The Equality in Michigan has come out against it. And so it's a huge problem when you consider one minority group and another not being able to embrace and celebrate each other.
Yeah, and I think that it's the limelight. It's great that so much news has come out about the injustice with our trans community, and we need to keep shining light on that. And
it's really important, and that they be able to be celebrated as spaces, because for women who suffer under our patriarchal society to not acknowledge the struggle that other women, even if they are trans women, also go through, there's got to be room to celebrate everyone.
Yeah, Lisa Vogel.
So,
are you listening? Are you one of the 34,000? Seriously, listen up. There are people that are making a difference and making a statement to you, and you need to listen.
And the sad thing is, trans women just want to be a part of it. They want to be, so their goal is not to take over the festival. It's not to have any special
treatment.
Included. It's we are women too, and if that's what the celebration is, let us be there. And it's been such a huge thing in the feminist community for so many years. It's sad that they can't bring themselves into the modern era.
There's a theme happening today. It's like the Bear Bar in Denver, excluding a drag queen. Not right.
It isn't. So I hope the ladies who are there give great thought to that while they are at the festival and enjoying, I don't know, daisy chains and scissoring and like lots of lesbian folk music. So I hope they have a great...
Is Sarah McLachlan there?
No.
Oh,
she's too big.
She's busy with them dogs.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, flashing on.
A positive story about gay bears. They have a new comfortable underwear called Bearskin. and they have a crazy Kickstarter that is approaching $50,000.
Yes, I think I found this and I really do love it because
I love it too.
You and I have a shared passion for slutty gay underwear, and I like any new brand. I'm super excited. I want to try it on, and realizing how many members of our community that don't fit into the we sell extra smalls to mediums, even though we call them extra large, they're really a medium. And there are
Right.
bear guys who go, that doesn't fit around my thigh, and I want cute underwear. And these guys said that they looked at all the things that they like and all the things they don't like about gay men's underwear and designed it specifically for larger men, and they're using bear models in the advertising, and they've got cute plaid trunks and cute
on camera?
and boxer briefs, and so it really is targeting a special part of our community that deserves to feel sexy in their underwear too.
And what's really great about their Kickstarter is it's basically a store.
Yes.
It's just really ordering their products. So they get to make their money, they get to launch their line, and we embrace this line. And actually, we love underwear, Emerson, so that would be a good sponsor for us.
Right,
Any
Bearskin.
underwear, Bearskin or any underwear company would be great because we'll just model it right here.
Yes.
Well, Emerson will. I'm not sure I will.
All right, your next one.
Oh,
Flashing on.
Oh, I love this story so much. In Mississippi, of course, there's a problem because some Satanists from New York came down and they did a lesbian conversion on Fred Phelps' mother's grave, so that she is now a lesbian in the hereafter. And they did a pink mass over the grave of Catherine Idella Johnson, and everybody's up in arms. They kissed. They were kissing on the gravestones, and anyway, they're trying to bring them back to Mississippi to press charges. And
That seems like a lot of work.
it seems like a lot of work, and it also seems like it's just so silly.
Turning dead people gay. That's just ridiculous. Homonecrophilia. Satanist homonecrophilia.
But they said they did not damage anything. They
Well-
left the cemetery as it was, except for a corpse who was now a lesbian.
So, at least they're being
Or a
respectful.
ghost. I don't know. It's not like them coming down and, during the civil rights movement. Let's be honest. No,
It's not.
So, but they're mad. The sheriff is mad, and he's going to do something about it. Dadgummit.
All right. Flashing on. This is a quick little story I found entertaining. Anna Paquin did an interview with Larry King. It's a half-hour interview that's great. She's incredibly smart. Been in
Love
the business
her.
since she was, 4 years old doing
Oscar
the piano.
winner, yeah.
Yes. But they got into a discussion that Anna Paquin is a bisexual, and Larry King, he's 174 and embalmed and had 8 marriages, but he seemed confused by what bisexuality is. So we thought for our quick little reenactment for the week, we would do Larry King and Anna Paquin discussing bisexuality. Del Shores would be playing the role of Larry Queen.
Of course.
Larry Queen.
I'm okay. All
And I
right.
will be playing Anna Paquin, but Anna Paquin as Sookie Stackhouse in True Blood.
Anna, are you a non-practicing bisexual?
Well, I am married to my husband, and we are happily monogamously married.
But were you bisexual?
Well, I don't think it's a past tense thing.
No.
No. Are you still straight if you are with somebody? If you were to break up with them or if they were to die, it doesn't prevent your sexuality from existing. It doesn't really work like that, Larry.
It made Larry think, I think.
Bless his heart. I mean, he's been through so
the
much.
bisexuals get such a slam in our community as well, and there are a lot of bisexual celebrities these days. Lots of them. Most of them in the music industry.
Yeah.
Fergie, Pete Townsend, Drew Barrymore,
Well, good for
Cynthia
them.
Nixon, Clive David, Davis. All right. And
That is the all.
Is that
of
it?
Flashing through the gay news. So now we weren't going to do this every week, but it was really necessary this week. So we will quickly hit up checking in with crazy.
And this week, our crazy is
Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's so many things, but, this Ebola scare is freaking lots of people out in America who don't understand what's happening and don't watch the news and actually pay attention to the story. So Donald Trump, playing into that fear, tweeted out, just recently, American doctor Kent Brantley would return to the U.S. on Saturday, and he is at Emory University in Georgia, where they've taken all the precautions in the world to ensure that it's safe. But the Donald tweeted out, "The U.S. cannot allow Ebola-infected people back People that go too far away places to help out are great, but must suffer the consequences. So
let's just let them die is what he's basically saying.
Sorry about it is basically what he said.
And Emory University has they've built like an isolation. That's what's so bad about radio. You can't go back and do a take two.
No, you can't.
but it's just bullshit. So again, Donald, you are a crazy motherfucker.
Thanks for nothing. You are the weakest link. You're fired. You're fired. So's your comb over. Come on now. All right, and finally, what's gay in sports ball? This week we actually have gay sports ball to talk about.
Isn't it exciting?
It's so
and I'm going to be
exciting.
there.
What is it?
Well, it's a bunch of gay games in Akron, Ohio, and I'm actually performing. I'm one of the headliners at. Notice how quickly I gloss over.
We're going to start this again
because
because
it's a bunch of gay games.
it is called the Gay Games. It's in Cleveland, Ohio.
No, it's in Akron. Well, I'm performing in Akron.
Well, the Gay Games are in Cleveland. You may be performing in an adjacent activity.
I have my ticket. It says Akron. I'm almost sure the Highland Theater on Wednesday. I'm caring about me here, but yes. So Emerson, you have some thoughts on the Gay Olympics.
Well, I find it so impressive. Well, first of all, it was the Gay Olympics started in 1982. They only lasted a year because the Olympics sued them and said they can't use the name, even though Olympics is used in a whole lot of other things. They were fine with the Special Olympics, just not the Gay Olympics. That's not helpful when we're running behind, John.
Where are they, John?
They're in Cleveland.
They're in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
I'm
was showing the
performing.
website.
My tickets are on Ticketmaster in case I forget to say that.
Cleveland Foundation is one of the most inclusive sports and cultural festivals in the world and comes to Cleveland and Akron 9 through 16 of August.
Thank you. They're like twin cities, like St. Paul and Minneapolis or
Well,
something.
but I love when you read the lineup. It's like the Gay Games, sports ball. Come to the Gay Games happy hours. There's a white party featuring Boy George, and the Indigo Girls are performing at the Gay Games.
Well, now they're available because they're not going to that other
that
thing.
women's festival.
They said, where can we go? Where can we go? The Gay Games. The Gay Games.
That's crazy.
But so, I mean, yay, sports ball. So it's just like gay rugby and gay soccer.
Well,
and
what do
gay-
you want, Emerson? What do you want?
I feel like it should be like gay sports, you know, like
Like what?
lube wrestling and fisting and like, you know.
That is fisting.
Sword swallowing.
Things, yes.
Rainbow shooting.
Deepest deep throat.
Oh my! I think
Look, what do you guys think at home? We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna put up a post on Facebook that says what are more
I would
appropriate
love
games
that, yeah.
for there to be at the Gay Games. I will post it right now and give us your suggestions for things that's just better than gay guys playing rugby or gay guys playing frisbee or gay guys diving. Isn't that just
like
regular?
ballet frisbee.
Isn't that just
Would that be good?
Yes.
Ballet frisbee. Like there
Yes.
has to or synchronized ballet frisbee. That's
because I mean, gay diving isn't that just regular
well,
diving?
that's lesbian sport.
Muff diving.
You can
Muff
have lesbian
diving.
muff diving, but diving is one of the gayest sports there is.
I know. Thank you, Greg Louganis.
All right, well, I have put up that post, so give us your suggestions of actually gay games they could play at the gay sports ball games, and we'll read them off at the end of the show.
And
But-
what about our first answer?
so now the results are in from our live on air early question, and there I will say that several were quite amusing. But the great winners are Jim Apple and Daniel Schaefer both got it correct. The country that searches the most for anal porn in the entire world is Russia.
Now I want them to go to the chat room, both of them, and I want them to vow that they did not Google. See, that's the problem.
I don't really care.
You don't care, but it was
No.
Russia. That is kind of amazing to me.
So sorry, Putin, but your people are pervy even without the gay people. My favorite.
Maybe that's why they're pervy.
Pooters.
My favorite personal answer though was Tony Ball said, or by University, Oral Roberts. Hey yo.
Oh, nice.
So-
Tony Ball. I know Tony Ball.
So that was that. But so we have put up the new question: what gay games do you think should be added? And we will read out the best and the absolute
Okay,
worst
we want
at
some
the end of the
creative
show.
shit here now. Come
So
on.
I have already contributed lube wrestling and fastest fisting and deep throat diving.
And I think my ballet frisbee
Frisbee
was very
ballet
good.
gets an honorable mention. I
And
absolutely
anything
agree.
synchronized, anything, because that's already gay.
Yes.
Right?
Synchronized snowballing. If you don't know what that is, look it up. All right. Well, we are going to take a really quick break, and then after this, we will be back with the fantastic Alec Mapa and his producer husband Jamie Hebert. So stick around, and we'll be right back. Hi.
see a child without a friend. I see a soul who thinks that it's the end. A broken will's the hardest thing to mend. But try to understand. I know you're hurting, I can see your pain, but you've got a future where there's no more shame. You're a miracle in spite of what they say. And you'll see a bright new day, 'cause it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. They said that you would never belong. They lied and told you that you're weak and they are strong. They put that loaded metal in your head, but I can help you understand. Yeah, I know you're hurting, I can feel your pain, but you've got a future where there's no more shame. You're a miracle in spite of what they say. And you'll see a brighter day, 'cause it gets better. Oh, oh. It gets better. Oh, oh, oh. It gets better.
Yay! We are back in the studio with Alec Mapa and Jamie Hebert, here to talk about their fantastic new film of Alec's stand-up special, Alec Mapa, Baby Daddy.
Welcome, boys.
Hi.
Thank you.
Oh, the show
Thanks
is
for
so
showering.
serious. I had no idea. Well, you have to make an effort every now and
Thank
then.
you. Y'all look like you showered.
We did.
Well, it is.
Slightly.
We've got a very, very, very serious show here.
Oh my
Uganda.
God.
That's why you're here.
Uganda,
I know.
Ebola.
I know.
The Michigan Women's Festival.
And Gay Sports Ball.
And Gay Sports Ball.
Have you ever been? to
No.
you haven't?
Why?
Well,
I
if
know.
they pay you to perform.
Well, if they
that's why
paid
I'm
me to
going.
perform, listen, if the check clears, I'll go to the opening of a drawer. So,
You don't do shot put?
will you
Yeah.
model?
Gay shot
Will
put?
you model some bear underwear?
I'll do anything. Here's my soapbox for a second, because we were
Yes.
listening earlier. I'm old enough to remember the 80s, where we were all dying and everybody hated us and everybody was laughing and glad that we were dead. So as a community, the LGBT community all stuck together.
Yeah.
Everybody was essential. We all needed each other. And it's just sad that we're splintering apart. So that's my plea for union. That's my plea
Well,
for
it's a
unity.
sweet plea, and we
Yeah.
make that plea every week here.
Yeah.
Do we have Kumbaya queued up? I was just
Let's
wondering.
No,
just,
but
you know,
we
but-
can sing it. I mean, we got some
We all know
voices
it.
No,
here.
but it's like I think the younger generation forgets that, you know, that there was a time where we were universally despised by everybody, and we were much stronger when we had to stick together. So,
Yeah.
and we had a better sense of humor back then too. I feel.
Are
like
we sounding like our parents?
No,
Like,
I-
remember the old. And y'all.
3-day tear. Because our
He's
kid is
gone.
at his grandparents, so it's like spring break. It's like,
Lots of
Oh my
nudity in the
God.
house.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Lots of throwing up. Little.
Wait, they got drunk and watched Clue, and then Jamie had to get up to go vomit after passing out.
After the pizza.
Yes. See, I
It
pay
was so
attention.
fresh.
And what was
And it-
Alec doing? He was Googling for anal porn. Hear the answer?
No.
Oh, good. What do you think?
Russia.
Yes,
You're
it
so
was.
right.
hot
real?
Yes.
It is Russia.
dog.
I knew it. If you're gonna
Well,
be
what,
that,
what made you say that? Why did you go there?
because I was gonna say Uganda or Russia. Any anti-gay, if any
Right.
country
Yes.
that anti-gay has to have everybody looking
So
for
there's some shtetl in Russia
Yes.
where there's some Russian man going anal.
It's for the gays anymore.
No.
I mean, that's
No.
like the new oral.
Right,
It's like
right, right.
It's
It's
really
like orange
taken off.
juice at
It's
dinner time.
It's really
radical.
taken off with the Christians.
Yeah.
Work.
Oh.
And they're They're like, honey.
That's silly.
And
no.
then she may not do her prep work. You
Right.
gotta get up in there and
two
shower.
To go wrong.
You got to clean out the caboose.
I mean, so many. And like,
Nobody likes a muddy bottom.
Or a shitty kitty. No one wants a shitty
yeah,
kitty.
you got to clean the brown out of the clown.
Now,
That's our message
we
for
had-
the. This is Masterpiece Theater.
Okay, I have to applaud you. I loved this film. I didn't know what to
good.
expect.
Oh, good.
I loved the bookending of it with your lives, and then you just walking out at the Rinberg and doing your thing.
Yes.
And
It
meeting
made
your
it seem somewhat wholesome.
son after. He just seems to love this celebrity that's going on.
A little too much.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does he
He
have a
said-
fan page yet?
No, not yet.
No, not yet, but it's just a matter of time.
Said, Papa Daddy, I like being famous.
I like being famous.
Yeah.
And then it's gone beyond that. Like, he doesn't like it when I get recognized on the street. Because, like, somebody will ask for a selfie at Disneyland or something. He's like, why aren't they asking for a picture with me?
Oh,
and so
it's
it
already
begins. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
like all our actor friends.
Right.
who's Papa and who's Daddy?
Papa
Daddy.
So it's like Daddy had a life before you came
Yeah,
to us.
guess
He was
what?
already somebody.
Yeah. Get your own television show. So yeah. So but he's been traveling to film festivals nonstop. He's gone to Hawaii.
San Francisco.
And
That's
yeah, that's it. But he's had a very busy summer. He went to camp. He had basketball camp. He went on our family cruise.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Now, what
he started taking yoga.
I want to set
Yeah.
you up for a question that was
Yeah.
asked. Now, what country did you go to get him?
That's what everybody asks. Is he from Rwanda? Is
South
he from
Central,
Botswana?
the country of
He's
South Central.
He's from Compton. He's from the
Yeah.
country of Compton.
Right.
It's like you don't have to go all the way to Africa to adopt a black child.
Yeah.
And they might have
Shocking
Ebola.
as
so-
it yeah,
Oh.
yeah. My new drag name is Ebola Falana. I've decided. What? What's happening?
Nothing.
Oh.
I was gonna.
They're whispering off
know.
my
I
camera
know,
now.
something
What's
happened.
happening?
Like I'm really like he's crazy offensive. I'm pretty offensive. You're offensive. But like even for me,
Me right here.
there is actually a line.
What's the line? Is it Ebola?
No, it's like AIDS jokes. Is what I was gonna make to his Ebola. He said he might have Ebola, and I was gonna say it's better than AIDS. But like I don't want somebody to think
Well,
that
you know what?
I do it.
Ebola kills you in a couple days.
I'm being sort of, I'm being silly, but
think.
it's actually back to that thing you talked about, community. You know, we're all really passionate about the community and
Yes.
lots of issues, and like
Yes.
I'm definitely a person of like, if I don't laugh at truly inappropriate things, like I'll scream and cry all day long about like the things we need to be
It's our
accomplishing.
greatest
Yeah.
coping mechanism. If
Yes.
you can't laugh at horrible things, life is going to snap you in half.
Mm-hmm.
That's a simple physical truth.
Well, and
I
the-
mean, it's like what's going to get you through the hard times is a sense of humor. And my philosophy is if it's funny later, it's funny now.
Yes,
Not too many people agree with that.
Right. And
Gilbert
I mean,
Godfrey does.
Yes. Did you read that?
I
Did you
love
read
that.
that?
what
Yes.
happened? I don't.
Amazing.
I
He
didn't-
just wrote a big like everyone on the internet's basically a moron post and how like and everyone's apologizing and people are apologizing for comedy, and he used the great example of he was literally one of the first people to make a 9/11 joke like the week it happened.
Yeah.
He was at some big event and there was just big
Yeah.
from the room.
He said, I have a flight out of town, but I have to make a stop first at the Empire State Building.
Oh.
And the audience just kind of had that
that.
reaction.
But so, and he flipped it over and told the aristocrats joke that's like the oldest joke in the
Right.
entire of comedy where you just say the most offensive things you can possibly think of to say and sort of making the point of, and I believe if you want to be offended, you have to always be offended.
Sure.
But if you're not offended sometimes, I kind of have a hard time with the times when you choose to now be offended because it's about someone you like or something you care about. Like,
Right.
Right.
If you never laugh, you get to be offended.
Well, our kid he was our foster kid, and one of his issue is he has a big fight or flight mechanism, right? You know, he's been on his own since he was 3.5 years old. So sometimes he misreads social cues. You know, when he first came to live with us, you know, we'd tease him a little bit or make a joke, and he would take it very seriously. And we've been teaching them, and if you don't have a sense of humor, you're just going to be mad all the time.
Right.
If you're gonna be offended by the slightest things, you're just gonna be offended all the time, and life will be much much easier for you, a black kid with 2 gay dads, if you learn to just kind of let water off a duck's back.
Lighten the fuck up.
Exactly.
I get so many letters. I bet you do too, where people try to control your mouth and tell you how to live your celebrity and your gaydom.
Yep.
They tell you, you're not doing it right, Del
Yeah.
Shores.
Yeah.
You're saying fuck you to these people.
Right.
That is not the way to win them over. Well, I'm not one to win them over.
Right.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm not going to win them over.
No.
And then just don't listen to you. If they don't like you, don't listen.
And quit trying to control me.
Yeah, it's like
You
I've
know?
been an activist for 30 years. You know,
You look
it's like-
great.
It's like, let's not start telling each other how to do this. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like
and to go to the court jester, the comedians, and tell them what to say. It's like they were from the beginning of time the ones that were inappropriate. So
right.
And
going
you
to
know,
the
so
wrong
we're probably going to
people.
get some comment about what Emerson said. But as what I did,
Good job, you're doing it
but,
right.
But you know what? You know how I started this before y'all came in here. Before we started, I handed him something from Life Walk in Dallas, which we strongly support. We did videos for, and we're always constantly giving back to the community to fight HIV.
Right.
To do
You put your money where your mouth is.
So this is our heart. This is where our heart is. So if someone slips and makes a comment that 15 people hate, then do you have to apologize? Do you have to? Because a lot of people are apologizing for horrible that we've talked about that on the show.
Well, I'm still trying to offend people because I am so much less famous than either of you. Like, I need attention, good, bad, whatever.
good.
You know, look, on our silly show, The People's Couch, that we did on Bravo, my most successful joke was about cancer. So, you know.
And then all the cancer people went
Well,
after
it
you?
was when Valerie was on Dancing with the Stars, and she had brain cancer, and
She had brain cancer.
and we
Which
watched
is now she's now healed. She's now
Completely
miraculous.
healed.
She's been healed by the power of dance.
And they said on the very first episode, and we watched it, and I said, well, there's no way she's going to go home. Like, how do you send somebody home with cancer? And it's like, she can't remember the choreography, but she has cancer. Sorry.
Right.
What's
And
offensive
so
about that?
So she finishes, and they're like, 7. She finishes her terrible dance. She's 104. Like, it's not the cancer. She's just old and not a dancer. And so she finishes, and the room
She's my age, Emerson.
Easy.
the room
Easy.
3.
the room leaps to their feet in raucous, thunderous ovation,
Yes.
and all I said was cancer claps. Because they weren't clapping because she danced well. They were pity claps because, like, yay, you have cancer and you did it.
But we
Crying.
love Rhoda. We love Rhoda.
Yeah.
Okay, Alec.
I once had cancer, but now I'm a dancer. Mary, are you there?
I want to ask you a couple of questions about the movie and the journey of the movie.
Certainly.
As I said, I absolutely loved it. Were you tentative about doing? I mean, I'm a dad as well. I have 2 daughters, and I
right.
was very cautious for a while of even putting them on a red carpet, of exposing them to this crazy world that I live in. Were you at all hesitant to expose him and your story, because your story is so important,
Right.
and I loved your story, and I think you're making a huge difference in putting a face on gay and gay parenting, and I love that. But how was it for thinking of your
You
son?
want to answer that? Or
yeah,
shall
sure.
I?
Because Andrea, who directed it, who is
That's Andrea James.
Andrea James.
our producing partner, brilliant director, and me decided to film it. So because we had control of it, we weren't worried about putting Zion in front of America because we feel like our story needs to be out there.
Yes.
So we've been approached by reality shows, like Bravo and specific
3
other
different
organizations,
occasions to do a
and we
reality
said
show.
no because you're not in control of that. We don't want him to have to go through seeing
Like,
him not being in. It's just
We were old enough to make that choice to
Yeah.
be on television and be in
Right.
front of cameras, and he's not. And I don't think kids are equipped to deal with the reality of being on television and being confronted by it and having your privacy taken away in real life. Like, we can handle that as adults, and I feel like he's been through enough. And with us, he can have as close to a normal childhood as possible. And you add him on you put him on television, it just makes it wacky right away. I mean, it's wacky enough that I'm on TV.
Right.
But we felt that it was really important to put our story out there as gay dads. I mean, gay dad is a new narrative in American media. And usually it's 2 affluent Caucasian gay dads who have done surrogacy or a foreign adoption, and there's nothing wrong with that story. That's a great story. But if it's the only story that's being told, there's something wrong. So we felt that the plight of the kids in the foster adopt system, older kids, because everybody wants a baby. We adopted the son when he was 5. The plight of older kids really isn't being told. And it was a really happy story for us. It's a happy story that he came to live with us when he was 5, and we had a rough period of adjustment. And then now he's just like any other kid. He gets to be like any other kid.
Well, it was just bam, you had him. It was like we had to.
Yeah.
You had to. It was almost like a reality show. Go here, see what you can do with this.
Right. Yeah. It was shocking for all of us.
And the day we picked him up, we got the call at 1 p.m. and had him in our house at 6 p.m. There was no warm up. It was.
Yeah.
It's so touching when the part about him wanting to stay and thinking who's next and I want you
right.
Just
and he became our kid right away. He used to whenever the doorbell rang, he would run and he'd hide under the bed or something, and he'd be really phobic of people coming over. But then like 3 weeks into it, we knew that it had changed because the doorbell rang, the door opened, and he said, "Tickets, please." And we were like, and people were like, "What? What do you? Just give him a ticket. Just
And
pretend."
then he would put on a costume when people came over to answer the door in a costume.
Yeah,
so
like-
we really knew he was our kid.
Right. Like, oh, good.
Okay. Yeah. And then this year, he's just, every time he opens his mouth, he's funny. Like after camp, I picked him up at camp this summer, and he was like doing this with his shoulder, and it's like something hurts, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And he goes, "I had a really challenging yoga class today." Oh, that's my kid.
That definitely is.
Yeah. Or when we took him to see Anything Goes in New York, we had some friends appearing in Anything Goes on Broadway, and we said, "What'd you think?" He said, "Not as delightful as Mary Poppins."
But he plays sports ball too, right? So you're balancing it out.
Yeah, he's real
basketball,
butch,
and he loves boobs.
He loves
Yes.
boobs.
Loves
Like if
them.
there's a pair of breasts in the room, his eyes are
He'll
he's
just
on
motorboat him.
Yeah.
He's just like,
Just go right to him.
Yeah.
Well, there's an influence of 2 gay dads with all the fabulousness, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, go ahead.
but to bring it back to the movie for a minute, it's interesting because you are an icon in the community for having, I mean, like being funny, but also being serious for having been so
And
established in
And
the,
Asian.
well, like being the go-to Gaysian, except for
Me
Rex
and
Lee,
George
that other
Takei
one, that like,
Rex.
It's like
It's a small club.
the Asian trio.
Yeah.
And that one from Entourage just went away.
Rex Lee.
Rex.
Yes, that one.
But you've been such a great example of both activism and comedy in the community for so long, and been in 50 TV shows and a gazillion movies, and like
How about
hosted
that?
everything.
Wow.
I counted. Like I went through and I was like, the Cosby Show, girl,
I know,
you
my
really
first-
have been
my
at it
first talkie.
forever.
He was Raven Simone's playmate, He was.
But to have all of that and then be able to take that and the benefit of that celebrity to do your show and make the whole show about this issue that's really important and very new in the community, and share your family and the family experience, and it is really, really ultimately subversive in how like straightforward it is.
Yes.
Which is really was
Yeah.
my favorite part of the film. That we see you guys being for real, you guys, and that
Right.
tacky Willem Bellum tank top, burning them waffles, and then off to do a show.
Right.
But I think that's the universal truth, that the more
Yes.
specific you are, the more universal you become.
Absolutely.
And we didn't say, and that beginning part of the movie is very deliberate, where there's no makeup, we're home, we're, making this disastrous breakfast, and it's just very real. And it's kind of like, we had, a lot of industry people see it, and we were kind of like, oh, is this going to be too gay for industry people to watch? It's very straight white male patriarchy, but they watched it and they went, yep, that's us. That's us at home. And the very graphic blowjob story.
I was about to mention it because it's my favorite part.
Yeah. There's a very graphic blowjob story. We're out on a date night, and because as parents, you have to navigate. When are we gonna do it? When the kids in the house, and we have a really small house, so sometimes it ends up being blowjobs in cars. And
My favorite.
Mine too. I'm fully on board with this.
Roadhead.
It's why we're friends.
And the industry people, the straight white people, were like, yeah, that's staying in. If this is bought, because that's universal, that's all of us. And we were like, oh well, what do you know?
It is. It's gay parents. They're just like
Yeah.
us. Like it's we're all the same.
Well, that's what I remember many years ago when my kids are like 21, 25 now, and I remember somebody in my family was saying, well, I just don't approve of your lifestyle. I'm thinking, my lifestyle is like carpooling. My lifestyle is doing my kids' hair when they get up in the morning, making them breakfast.
Folding laundry and
it's
watching
like-
So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah,
That's
and
our
reading
lifestyle.
stories and falling asleep
Yeah.
like you did in the last scene. That's exactly what my life was.
I wish it was wackier.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we try.
Yeah.
We try.
But, our way of socializing is we bring the wacky to us. Zion's growing up with, I said when we entertain at home, it's like anti-meme.
It is,
It's like
yeah.
every possible person at the dinner table. It's like,
Isn't Calpurnia your neighbor?
Calpurnia.
She's one of
yeah.
our good friends. Yeah, she lives not far, but she'll come over before a show, so she will be done up.
Yeah, in full
Oh.
beat.
Beautiful
Or-
bosoms
yeah.
and Zion's in heaven.
Or drag queens will come over
Right.
and fully dressed, before a show for dinner, and they'll eat dinner at our place, and then they'll tuck Zion in.
And you let them into your house, unlike
Yes.
the bear. Over
Oh, right. I heard about
Yeah.
Well, and Zion's favorite babysitter is
Shangela from
Right.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
so it's
Shangela's
She's a
become that
sweet
drunk
girl.
uncle who, before he leaves, pulls a wad of cash out and throws it at the kid. Goes, here you go. Just
All
like-
the tips.
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So
like
sweet.
He's gonna be really well adjusted or just fucked up in therapy.
he's growing up like a gay Kennedy. It's
Yeah.
like here you are, like the gay Martha's Vineyard with like all of the gay glitterati rolling through the house, and he's like,
true.
oh, Aunt Shangela.
Yeah, but he's become
God.
very confident. Like on the Our Family cruise, he would go up to people and just go, "Hi, my name is Zion," and shake hands and make eye contact. Like he was an insurance salesman. He was 45 years old. People were
Yeah.
like, really like, "Who are you? What's going on here?" Like he's become very precocious and
Yeah.
sure of himself this year.
And he stood
Like-
up to someone on the boat.
Yeah, there were some older kids who were bullying him on the boat at one point.
Yeah.
And you tell the story.
So he got to go off every night from 9 to midnight with his 9-year-old friends on the boat. I
On a
can't
cruise
believe
ship.
So
we
exciting.
let him do that. But
so
one
scary.
night he came back and said, "Oh, these kids, they were bullying us, and they said they were going to beat us up." So we got a little afraid. But then the next day we were going to deal with it. Another mother told us that he had stood up to the person and said, "Hey, I recognize you. You were the ones picking on us." And these kids were 15 and huge, and said, "We don't want you on this raft. These are my friends," and they swam away scared. So I would have
Yes.
never done
Yeah.
that when I was 9
I'm
years
such
old.
a chicken.
But it's such an example, people talk about that 95% of parenting isn't anything you teach them, it's what they watch from you. And the two of you being articulate and intelligent people who stand up for the things you believe in, he learned that
Hey,
from you.
let's go with that.
Well, when I first came out, I had this great therapist, and I had all these questions. Are they going to be adjusted? Are they going to? And she said, "Are they loved? Are your children
Yeah.
loved?" And I said, "Yes, they are." She said, "They're going to be just fine."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and they're not
and-
always. They're not
and-
always just fine.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but they are
and
loved.
they're not always lovable.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
no.
right.
And the rest they can work out in therapy,
Yeah.
like everyone else
Exactly.
did.
But see, we adopted him when he was 5, so we can always say, you know what, that
That's pre us.
you were
Yeah.
fucked before you came here, so
before
that's
us.
not our fault.
That's genetics. That's genetics. That has nothing.
Right.
You just think of what you
We
would have
weren't
been.
there for the formative years.
Right.
We were there to clean up the mess afterwards.
Well, my-
Parenting parachute.
he looks like he's doing by the film and by just watching y'all interact at the end Outfest and him shaking hands and being. It looks
Yeah.
like you're doing
he's
an amazing
he's
job.
really confident, and he knows he's loved, and he always comes back in the fall at school with a interesting tale to tell. He told his first grade teacher one time, "I just got back from Spain, and I'm gonna take you." Remember?
Yeah, and she goes, "Have you been to Spain?"
Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Okay, we just got back. Like,
And then she said, "Is he from New Jersey? Because he told me he's from New Jersey." And we go, "No, that's a lie."
no, that's
a lie."
actually a lie.
Yeah.
That was the lie. That was the weird thing. Was that he was from New Jersey?
Right, not
Yeah.
that we went to Spain.
Well, no,
right.
he was in the south of France and he was in Spain, but he's not from New Jersey.
So we're going to have to wrap up really quick here,
Wrap
but I
it
want to
up.
ask you, we've just been talking about the kid and your career. We love your career. I want to ask you really quick, what's the favorite project you ever did? What was your favorite role? I mean, I was shocked that you had replaced B.D. Wong and Madam Butterfly.
and Butterfly.
I just
Yeah.
said Madam Butterfly.
Yeah.
I wrote the notes.
Well, a fan brought in some artwork from when I was on NYPD Blue when I played and Peaches. What did I play?
It was Michael
No.
Sheehan.
Angela.
Uh,
Yeah, so I played a transgender hooker on NYPD Blue, and that was a great gig. 'cause,
Yes.
I got rescued by Jimmy Smith, so that was very
Yay.
exciting. But my
you were Trangela.
yeah.
Oops.
Oops, careful. My favorite.
You didn't
my
say
favorite,
the other one, it's fine.
My favorite job was this bomb movie that I did with Toni Collette and
Connie and Carla?
and Mia Vardalos, Connie and Carla, because we got to sing and dance in drag with Debbie Reynolds. And I did this musical I got to dance next to Toni Collette every day and Nia Vardalos, and it was so so much fun. So much fun that the people I did the movie with almost 11 years ago, we're all still friends. We're all still in touch.
Well, I have never seen it, so I'm going to.
Oh my God, it's exquisite.
I'm going to Netflix it this week.
And if you're listening at home and you haven't, like, it is a gay cultural touchstone now. Like, you need to have seen Connie and Carla.
And it couldn't have been a bigger bomb. Like, it couldn't have closed
Great concept,
quicker.
though.
I know, but it's become this cult classic. Like, people, like, you know, I'm recognized globally from that film.
Well, we thank you so much for coming in, and we do have a question to answer.
Yes, we'll do that. But where can people find you guys on social media? Shout out your shit.
Yeah, go. You go first.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Alec Mapa.
And then the film, we have a Facebook page you can like.
Yes.
For Alec Mapa Baby Daddy.
And that keeps you updated on where it's showing
Film
next,
festivals,
which festivals we're going next.
What
release
is up
dates
next?
coming up. We don't have specific dates, but we can tell you that we're going to head into Chicago and Atlanta next.
Awesome.
Yes. All right. So to wrap up really quickly, the best and worst actually gay events that should exist at the sports ball gay games. The suggestions from the crazy people at home were musical shares, anal cavity searches, butt plugging, best Vogue, best snarky remarks, and my favorite, sissy that walking.
Yeah.
That's from your listeners, and you're worried about being offensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to wrap up because other people are coming on. Up next, On Air with Tony Sweet, and then stick around for the Ann Walker Show after that. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
And we will see you all next week.